What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna be back to work on our 1966 Ford Mustang with some serious burn damage that we bought off Copart. We're actually gonna be focusing on the front of this car. This motor is a 289. It has some burn damage to it, but we're gonna try to get this thing running so we can sell it because we are buying a newer 5.0 parts car. We're gonna swap that motor into here. So make sure you hit that subscribe button because this build is gonna be amazing. So let's go ahead and see what we need to do to this 289 to get this thing running. As you can see, the spark plug wires are all burned up and a distributor, so we are going to be replacing the spark plugs and the wires. So let's go ahead and get to work on this thing. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do on this motor is go ahead and give it a nice clean. As you guys can see, somebody was spraying a fire extinguisher on it. Hopefully the firefighters or whoever put this car out did not spray any water into the motor directly, but we're not going to know that until we get the spark plugs out. So let's go ahead and give this motor a nice clean. We got the engine all air blowed off. It still looks pretty bad, but now we're gonna go ahead and start removing all the burnt stuff like these burned wires, and we'll probably get the spark plugs out, see if there's any water inside the motor. Hopefully there's not, but there could be, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we got the spark plugs out and a distributor. Now we're gonna go ahead and try to turn this thing over. This is the moment of truth. Hopefully it turns over. Hopefully it's not seized up. Let's go ahead and get this booster box on here. These older cars are actually quite simple, so there might be some more on the channel. That goes there. That goes there. All you gotta do is put this to here. Gotta turn it on first. It turns over really nice. So let's go ahead and get the new spark plugs on and go ahead and pop the new distributor on, wire everything up, and hopefully we can get this thing running. We got the new spark plugs in and we went ahead and put the new distributor on. We did set it up in time. All you have to do is turn the motor over until pressure builds up in this one cylinder, and that's top dead center. So we set the time up on that. We also wired it up to the coil right here. And we also filled the carburetor full of gas because the fuel pump was actually leaking down there. So we kind of just filled that up. So let's go ahead and try starting this thing. Hopefully it will start. Let's go ahead and do it. Got the motor running. I'm pretty surprised. All we did was we replaced the distributor, put a couple of spark plugs in, and wire up 2 wires, and this thing fired right up. It didn't run for long, but I'm thinking that's because this carburetor is probably really dirty. We did try cleaning it a little bit, but that didn't work out. And also our fuel pump was leaking pretty bad down here. That's why we have this fuel filter hanging up like that. We poured a little bit of fuel in there, but at least we know it runs, which is pretty cool. The first thing we're gonna go ahead and do is start stripping down this entire front end. We got some industrial strength WD-40 because all these bolts are super rusted. So let's get under there, spray everything down, let it soak for a little bit, and start unbolting everything. Oh yeah, nice and wet. Bumper off. We did have to cut a couple bolts off because they were rusted, but check out this heavy duty bumper. It's made out of high quality steel. I mean, if you had to deal with this thing, it probably will just bounce off, not like that car, just everything crunched up front. So let's go ahead and see what else we got over here. We did notice some more rust over here on this radiator support, and somebody did a pretty poor job of cutting that up, but that's all right. And then we did notice a little bit more rust under here also on the radiator, or it's actually the frame rail right there, but everything else looks pretty solid compared to that. So let's go ahead and take off these fenders and see what other surprises we find under here. So we got all the bolts off the fender, and check this out. This car actually used to be white. As you can see right there, I guess they didn't paint all that, but we got all the bolts off. Let's go ahead and take this fender off. So we got the fender off, and check this out. There's some shims under here. I guess they're shimming up the fender, but also looking down here, it doesn't look too bad. We actually don't have any rust, especially right here. A lot of people were saying to check this area over here and this area over here. It looks pretty good. There's just a bunch of sealer on there, but good thing there's no rust down there, or over here there's no rust. Usually the water will run down right here and make everything rust under here, but it looks like it was coated pretty good. Everything held up, but let's go ahead and move on to the other side and take that fender off. Well guys, we've got a little problem. This side, one of the bolts inside is just twisting and it's super rusty, so we're gonna have to cut it off. Fit in there? Oh yeah. got this fender off too, and it's looking pretty good under here. We also don't have much rust. We just have some paint chips coming off right here. As you guys can see, it used to be white right there. Now we're gonna move on to taking off this hood because I want to do some further inspection over here by this cowl area right here. As you guys can see, I'm pretty sure this was the firemen. They were jamming something up into here so they could put out the fire. But let's go ahead and get this hood off, and we'll do some more investigating down here and see how bad it is. Check that out, it just broke off. Oh man. That ain't gonna work. Alright guys, so we did get the hood off, and as you guys can see, the cowl is pretty destroyed up here. I'm guessing the firefighters couldn't get the hood open because of the hood pins, so they just jammed a crowbar in there and destroyed it. But there's not a lot of rust in there, which is a really good thing. You can see right here, I can't really poke anything through. A lot of you guys are saying you gotta check these cowls, make sure nothing is rusted out, but it looks pretty good. And they also sell these replacement panels down here. But let's go ahead and do a little overview of what we did on this car. As you guys can see, the entire front end is completely stripped down. We don't have as much rust as I thought we would. We do have a little patchwork right there or something. I'm not sure what happened there. But that's all right because most of this stuff is easily replaced, and we'll probably be cutting everything off because we are going to be doing an engine swap in this thing. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and follow me on Instagram at vTuned.